All right, the next section we'll look at on your ingredients to avoid chart are endocrine disruptors. If you look at the very bottom of your chart, there's a note here on endocrine disruptors, and there's an asterisk there. And partway through that note, you can read this. It says the endocrine system regulates all biological processes in the body, including development of the brain and nervous system, growth and function of the reproduction system, metabolism, blood sugar levels, ovaries, testes, pituitary, thyroid, and the adrenal glands. So the endocrine system is regulating so much that if we have a disruptor, it's as if there's a key in a lock where it shouldn't be, and it's going to be disrupting all these different areas in our body that it shouldn't have access to. This is so important. We need to know what these endocrine disruptors are. So anything back up on this chart that has an asterisk in it, including phthalates, which we just discussed with fragrance, is an endocrine disruptor. So the next one we'll look at is parabens. It's the next one down on your list. And parabens mimic estrogen and are suspected to be linked to breast cancer. This is so important because I've talked to multiple breast cancer patients who were not told in their treatment to avoid products with parabens. And why is this so important? If you look at why it's harmful on your chart, it says a 2011 study by the California Pacific Medical Center linked BPA methylparaben with breast cancer, and the combination blocked effectiveness of cancer drugs like tamoxifen. So that means if a breast cancer patient has been given tamoxifen as their drug, to combat such a terrible thing as breast cancer, and yet they use anything with a paraben, it's going to essentially cancel out their tamoxifen. This is a problem, is it not? So check your labels, check for paraben, check for methylparaben, propylparaben, anything with the word paraben is a paraben, and comment below if you find one of those in one of your bottles. The next one down on your list is Triclosan. I am pleased to say that this has been banned since this list was published very recently, but it will not go into effect for a year, and only in some products that carry Triclosan. What is Triclosan? It's the active ingredient in antibacterial products, but is, guess what, registered with the government as a pesticide. That's why it has to legally be labeled. You're going to find it in anything that says antibacterial, or you see 99.99999% germs killed, something like a toothpaste even, antibacterial hand soaps, antibacterial hand sanitizers. And the thing here is we don't want to kill all of the bacteria, right? There's some good ones that we want to leave. And when we're killing everything out, we're killing that good bacteria also. So we have some wonderful product options with Pure Haven that show it's possible to kill the bad bacteria while still leaving the good bacteria that helps to build our immune systems, etc. So please still be watching for Triclosan because it's only been banned in antibacterial hand soaps on the shelf, not in hospitals, not in toothpastes, not in many other products. So please be aware. A little further down in your chart is our next endocrine disruptor. It's Oxybenzone and Octinoxate, and this is a synthetic chemical sunscreen active ingredient. I like to bring up this product to show that there are parent companies that we need to be aware of. Perhaps a company started with really genuine desires to be pure and natural and create the best of the best. Burt's Bees, for example, started as a very genuine company, and then they got bought out by Clorox. So take that for you what you will. They can reformulate. No one needs to know unless you know how to read the label yourself. Or there's this issue of just companies owning other companies in the first place. Like Aveeno, for example, is supposed to be doctor recommended, clinically proven, but it's owned by Johnson & Johnson. So they call all the shots about what goes in these bottles, just like they do for their own products. So please be aware of that. This is one where the active ingredient is Octinoxate and Oxybenzone, and the active ingredients are separate in this product from the inactive ingredients, so be sure to watch for that too as an ingredient detective to check both parts of your label. Another one of the endocrine disruptors on our charts that I like to mention is Glycol. It's a little further down, and it's a synthetic petrochemical mix known to cause allergic and toxic reactions. And here's why this one is so important. When I was a teen, I had major rashes on my underarms because of the deodorant I was using. We'll talk later more about aluminum and why that's so dangerous. But for me, I just knew something had to change, and I went to my normal grocery store, and the best I could find at the time was Tom's. deodorant. And even though for me personally it didn't work, it wasn't until years later when I found out about Pure Haven Essentials that I found out the first ingredient is propylene glycol. And that can actually be found in some cake mixes. I went through my cupboard the other day and found out I haven't eliminated all my toxins. Propylene glycol was in a box in my cupboard, and that's not okay with me. So any glycol, propylene glycol, anything with the word glycol is linked, if you read why it's harmful, linked to cancer, developmental reproductive issues, neurotoxicity, endocrine disruption, liver and kidney damage. So please be aware of these endocrine disruptors. These are very important to be attentive to, so you can be your own informed consumer. Thanks so much.